Hello, welcome. In this video, we'll be talking about how to use Tradingview. So it's very straightforward. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is Google Tradingview and come to this page. And I've already done so, so we're not going to do it. But that's what you have to do, right? And this is your landing page. Hooray, you made it, guys. First step complete. Awesome. Okay, so now, yeah, you notice how there's all these things over here, and you see these prices of all these other things you don't really pay attention to because you don't usually deal in those sectors, or, you know, just the market in general in those markets. So, you know, you just ignore that stuff, right? So now you come down here. So you want to launch a chart, you just search the name of the chart you're looking for. So you want Litecoin, you can just type Litecoin, and it'll tell you all the exchanges and, you know, all the parities. You can just pick one, right? If you want Bitcoin, you can type Bitcoin, right? Same thing. Oh, look, there's Bitcoin Dark, there's Bitcoin Plus. What's that? I have no idea, but you know, that's what it is. You just search whatever you want and it'll pull up the exchanges and all of its parities. Now, before we get there, we'll talk about these ideas first, right? So these ideas, this is what other traders, you know, publish. Well, not really publish, just share, right? What they think is going to happen with markets. You can look at all sorts of things to confirm your ideas, or, you know, get ideas if you don't have any ideas. You know what I mean? So it's useful. You know, you can select your markets. You can look up, you know, short-term ideas. And all of it. The short term is by my bad, guys. The short term, right? It's just the charts, right? So from 15 minutes to hourly. So that's what that means, right? So it means 15 minute charts to 1 hour charts, right? And over here it's daily or higher, right? See, it says day over here. That's what that means. Whereas before it said minutes. Well, you know, less. Well, it was 15 minutes. Anyway, the point is that's how you look at other people's ideas. You can obviously search for them. So we're going to be looking at Litecoin with the USD parity on Coinbase. So that's what we'll start with. And once you type that in and you hit enter, it'll bring you to this page where your chart is, right? So I highly recommend you you start this. So we'll do it together. So you hit start. This is that place where I told you where you can type anything. It's the same thing as that menu. You know, you just type whatever cryptocurrency you want to look at. You can just, you know, it'll pull it for you, right? Okay, so the next one is our charts. This is the 1 hour chart, for example. This is the 1 day chart. So it allows you to switch between time scales. And, you know, you can zoom in, and the zoom ins, you know, we'll get into how the scaling works and all that in a second. But, you know, this is how you switch between time intervals on your charts, which is very useful. Without this, you know, you can't trade, really. So over here, you get to select the different types of chart types, right? So, you know, if you want bars, you can do bars. Most traders use candles and occasionally Heiken Ashi because they do look nice. And, you know, that's that. And the next one is going to be compare. So let's say you want to compare Bitcoin with Litecoin, right? And you want to overlay it. So you just type BTC USD over here. Actually, let's not overlay it just yet. We'll do it again in the future, later in the video. But for now, let's just say you want to compare the two. Just type, you know, just type the parity. It'll pull it up, select it, and then boom, there you go. Or you could just type it and then hit enter, and it'll pull it up, right? So now we have two of these. Let's say you want to get rid of one, just hit X. Or, you know, if you accidentally removed it, hit Control Z, and it'll bring it back, right? Or if you don't want it again, hit just Control Z. So that's what that does. And let's say you want this this new chart down here to look exactly like this one, you know, the style-wise. So then you come here and you hit that gearbox, right? Once you hit the gearbox, you select the style tab, and then from here you can go to candles, and, you know, you can just, it's very intuitive. You can just select the candle colors and wicks and all of that. So so scale right means it scales to the right axis of this chart, right? Mine's are on the right because that's where this, you know, this price axis is, right? So you can make it scale left and it'll scale to the left corner of the chart. That's all that means. You know, you could just leave it at right. It doesn't really. Sometimes it doesn't, you know, you gotta switch it sometimes when something doesn't sync, but for the time being we'll just keep it the way it is because it's just a demonstration. So that was the compare chart. Indicators. So indicators, this is where we add our, like, MACD indicator, the ones we use on our videos, right? SAR and B bands, right? There we go. Those are the three indicators we use. And obviously you can hit the gearbox just like we hit the gearbox over here to change the style and the color and all of it. And, you know, the yeah, that's basically it. You know, this is the inputs. You can change the length, so this takes 20 data points. You could make it take 40 and so on, and that'll change the chart essentially. So That's how you change and edit your indicators, as well as add your indicators. So now we have different indicator templates. Okay, so well, they call them study templates. I call them indicator tablets. I mean templates. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing. As you may have noticed, I'm a little bit tired, but it's because of the MACD tutorial that was done. That's we'll get to it. There'll be that other video today too. It's two. We got two videos today. All right. So let's say you want to see oscillations. Click oscillations. There you go. Let's say you accidentally clicked oscillations. Click Control Z. Twice, 3 times, 4 times. Hold on. It'll get rid of it. I know it will. It's because we zoomed in. There we go. We got rid of it. And now we're going to have to add our B-bands again because we hit Control Z too many times. But that's how you switch between them and so on. So next, we get alerts. You got to log in to add alerts. That's why I said you got to make an account. Once you add an alert, you can just select the price and it'll send you a text or, an email or whatever, or even make a sound on your browser, if you have your browser volume up. So that's how you add alerts. You click this to switch between chart layouts. So this is one chart, right? This is 2 charts next to each other. This is 3 charts on top of each other. This is 3 charts next to each other, and so on. You got to use these ones. The more screens you have, the better. So I highly recommend using this one. 4 charts per screen. Then you need a lot of screens, obviously, but you get 4 charts per screen, and assuming they're all 1080p, it works, to your benefit, because you need something like that when you're looking at the MACD slope on a 1 hour, 1 day, 1 hour, 1 day, 30 minute, 15 minute, and 1 minute scales, right? When you make your decisions when you're swing trading, so that's why you'll need all those different configurations, and it works really well because the crosshair syncs and all of it, and you can just have it link the symbol to all the charts. So let's say you don't want to so that way you don't have to type in the same symbol on all the charts, essentially, and your intervals, so your time scales link, right? But you generally don't want to check that unless you're looking at a bunch of coins at the same time scale, right? So that's all of that. And also if you hit track time, when you zoom in, it'll zoom in and zoom out all at the same time across the charts. All right, that's what that is. Very useful. Okay, next, broad range of drawing tools, right? So right now I'm using cross. You can use a dot if you want. It's really up to you. It's lots of tools. There's a trend line tool. There's an angle trend line tool. There's array. You can do whatever you want. There are a lot. And you can come here, get some Fibonacci's, right? Get some circles. Oh yeah, so complicated. Anyway, fibs hold true. I don't use them, but they hold true. And let's say you want a time zone, so you want to do some magic, chart magic right there. See, it's like, whoa, at every one of these points there's price movement that are like, it almost lines up critical point wise, right? Obviously not. Okay, that was a joke. All right, that was just me using these drawings incorrectly, but you could use them correctly if you want. Next, you get this pen tool. You can draw. Oh, there you go. You select it and you can draw whatever you want. You can get a circle. You can make an ellipse. My bad. You can get an ellipse, make a circle. You can create a rectangle. All of that. Do whatever you feel like doing, you could do. It's all free. It's all good. It's a really good service. Highly recommend using it. So next, you can type text, right? Text. That's how I get mine. I generally put a background and a border to it, and I make the background white, and then there you go. So that's how I get mine to look that way. Obviously you can go and change all sorts of things. Like for example, if you don't want to be visible on the, if you want this only to be visible on the 1 hour chart, you just do this, and it'll basically be only visible. So when we switch scales to the 1 minute chart, that text is nowhere to be found, right? Because it's only visible in those time scales. And let's say you want to go back and edit that text, you could just click this Show Objects Tree button. And this is Coinbase LTC, so there's the case. There's that text we created, right? We can just edit it and then enable it on a minute chart, and it should appear somewhere. I know it doesn't scale properly, but I know it should. Yeah, it should appear somewhere. Anyway, that's how you do it. Let's say you had something. Fuck. I don't know how I'm talking, but we're doing this. It's a lot of words. Tutorials are pretty fucking boring. Okay, so anyway, the point is, let's say you don't want that text here. You can select it and hit delete there. However, if you don't want to do that, you could just click this object tree and then come here and delete it over here. And you can do this for all of the indicators and all that. So, and if you have, if you have drawings on many different charts, you can cycle between them by selecting them through here. All right, so that's that. So what were we talking about? We were talking about these. Right, no, we talked about these cool fib bars and these oscillation Elliott waves, right? So, if you want, you can do one of these to get the date range. Let's see. No. And there you go, that's your day's range, right? High, low. I mean, again, you can just play around with these. Okay, so I'm not going to go look at the rest of them, but, this is where you get all your cool symbols. This is zoom in one, but I don't really see the point of it since you got your mouse wheel. This is the measure. So this is, you can do shift click or, or not. So with this, you can basically calculate. So we're using shift click right now. You can calculate the time period basically and the percentage change from the previous price levels. That's what it tells you. All right. So that's that one. And, magnet mode, for example, here, let's take our drawing tool out. I know this is a long video, but bear with me, guys. I mean, we're looking at a lot of information. This is meant for newbies. Where the hell's our drawing tool? Where'd it go? There we go, brush tool. All right, so this is without magnet mode, right? Now let's enable magnet mode and show you what it does. That's what magnet mode does. It pulls it down, basically. That's how you get lines that that look nice, that follow the candlesticks with magnet mode. Okay, so that's what that does. This makes you stay in drawing tool mode. Over here locks all your drawings so you can't move any of them. And this basically here, so for example, let's do this, right? We have a trend line over there. Let's lock it. See, now we can't move it, right? You unclick that. Oh, you can move it now. And then you lock it, but since you can't move it, but you don't want to move it because you locked it, right? So let's say you don't want to see it, and then you hit this one and then it's gone. And then you can, do all of that. Very straightforward, nothing too complicated, very intuitive, as you may have noticed. And, this button will sync your drawing to all of the charts. Right, that's what it will do, all the charts you have open. Clicking this up here will save your chart layout. You can title it, and over here you can load the chart layout. And the chart layout is basically all the indicators and all the drawings you have, on your chart that you can just load. And we've already gone over, object tree, and, to remove stuff, you can click this arrow next to it if you want to remove everything. And by everything, I mean your drawings and your indicators. However, you can just remove your drawings or your indicators if you want. But yeah, that's that. That's this really, feature-packed side of this chart. So next. All right, scripting. We're not going to be doing that, but if you want to do some scripting, you can come here and you can go read their API stuff and wiki and get it. And this is Screener. I don't really use it because I use TD Ameritrade's Screener, right? And let's say you accidentally open this area, you want to get rid of it, just click it again. It's gone, right? Because it just takes up space. Let's get rid of that, right? So that's how you do that. Alright, so this is your time zone. To edit this, what you got to do is click this button right here. Alright, then go to scale properties. So you basically at this gearbox go to scale properties, and then we'll see what everything does. So let's say you want a left axis instead of a right axis, just click the left one. Now you got a left one as well. Now you got two. Now you want it to auto scale like this, or if you don't want to auto scale, there you go. Now it doesn't auto scale. See, there's a difference. You can have your scale be percentage based, so it's all relative, technically. Over here it's 0%, and technically is up up 1,000% from its 0%, whatever. So you can do that. I'd recommend using a log scale on the day chart. We'll open that tab again, but a log scale on the day chart gives you a better idea of how trading has been throughout the days. Okay, so that's that's what you use a log scale on the day chart for. You see how okay, so for example, let's get rid of our indicators real fast. You click this button just like this one. You hit the eyeballs to disable them. so they disappear, the indicators. Same way with the drawings, right? So this is a log scale, so it normalizes all the price movements relative to its previous price movement, right? So when you look at it this way, it doesn't look too bad. Now let's go back and let's switch that from, let's get rid of the log table, right? So just pay attention to the scale. Look at how the scale changes. Right, there you go. So now they don't look as nice, basically. Anyway, that's how you switch between the different type of scales. We just do auto scale generally and just let it stay. You can lock the scale so the scale doesn't change, but as you move in. But I don't recommend that because you want the scale to change as you zoom in and all of that. So, but there's a use for it. There's an option. It's a choice. You can choose what you want to do. Right, that's the point. So those are your scales. Your backgrounds, you can just switch your colors and themes. Open, high, low, close values, those are over here. All right, if you don't want them, you just uncheck this, they disappear. Your indicator titles, as you may have noticed, as I unclick this, they disappear, on all of them. Your indicator values, let's say you don't want to see your values, you just click that and all the values disappear, right? And your symbol description, you don't want that title up there, you can just click that and it goes away. Time zones, this is very important. So I'll be on, I'm on New York time, so I gotta go to UTC -4 New York, right? And then you can choose your colors and all of that. Trading, so trading, this is an important tab because let's say where'd it go? We don't have it. My bad, hold on. Trading. So anyway, we're not going to be using this place to trade, obviously, but if you do link your APIs or whatever, you could use it. So you can just, there'll be different menus when you do that, and you can just enable them and disable them. But generally, there's this tab over here, right? This annoying tab that always appears, right? So you want to get rid of it. Just go to scale properties, go to trading. Oh, come on, damn it, guys, hold on. We didn't finish our workshop. We're gonna have to go back. Suka. Hold on, what step did we leave on? This is what happens when you take too long. But I hope you guys are learning, right? So it is not, it's not meant to be a fast tutorial. It's meant to be a comprehensive one. We did those. Publish idea, scales, communicate in real time. Alright, that's that. Okay, anyway, the point is we were talking about how to get rid of this annoying goddamn thing, right? So you go to scale properties, click that gearbox over here, go to trading, and then boom. There you go, it disappears. Just uncheck the show buy and or sell panel. Just uncheck this, uncheck that, basically uncheck everything. Except maybe this one. This last one might be important. That's the trading tab on this gearbox over here. So now, you get this events tab. You don't want any of these things, right? None of the 4th of July, none of those things. So you don't want any of those events. Just boom, uncheck this box. It'll get rid of them. Earnings, dividends, splits, these are all relevant to stocks. Since you'll be trading crypto, you can just uncheck them by default. And once you place an alert, there'll be a line for that alert, and you can basically, if you don't want to see that alert over there, you can just uncheck it. But we'll leave it on since we don't have any alerts. And if I did put an alert, well, the thing is, when you log in, it saves your profile, right? So these settings carry over. Right now we're not logged in, so nothing I do will save. All right, so we talked about auto scale and all of that on the scales. Now the styles, right? Let's say you want to get your candles to look, I don't know, you want to make your red candles green to mess with people, right? There you go. Now they're all green. Definitely don't do that. It's definitely very misleading. Oh man, that'd be good prank, bro. Good prank. How to lose $1 million in a day? Just switch all the red candles green. Let people trade inversely. They'll lose everything, right? Anyway, that's how you do all those things. And as you may have noticed, when I changed the time zone, it changed over here. So if you want to just, instead of going through this menu, you could always go through here, right? So auto scaling is on now. Clicking this, auto scaling is off, and so on. And over here, if it's blue, it's toggled. So right now it toggles log scaling. When it's not blue, it doesn't toggle it. Your percentage, percentage scale and all that. So, that explains basically almost everything that's useful as far as I can think of. One thing we do gotta go over, so Coinbase doesn't give us the depth data, but Bitfinex does, maybe? I don't know, let's see, it's loading market depth data. Let's see if it loads. Some exchanges do, some exchanges don't. I generally don't recommend using here for the depth data. I just recommend getting that depth data directly from the exchange. So that means logging on to the exchange. So maybe Poloniex. Yeah, there we go. Poloniex displays, right? So this is their price. You know, this is their depth data. This shows where all your buys and sells are for Litecoin over here on this. Okay, so you know, that's almost everything. Let's go back to that Coinbase chart and enable some indicators, and then we'll look at, you know, we'll show you how to get these indicators where you want them, right? Because you know, you want these indicators. It helps you trade better. So the first thing I googled was MACD, right? And then boom, we got it. Next is SARs, parabolic, right? Those are our dots, and then the one after that is going to be our B bands. And there you go. Now we have our 3 indicators, the 3 indicators we use to trade with. And there you go. So, you know, and we go into detail about how this MACD indicator works in today's MACD tutorial. So go do check that out. But that's gonna basically conclude our video, guys. That's how I get my chart set up. Perhaps, you know, I don't like the color scheme sometimes. I do switch the colors, so I just hit gears over here and then we switch it. Generally, I keep the default settings, right? So my MACD settings will be 12:26 close, signal is 9. And then, you know, if I don't want the colors like this, I could just switch them. And there you go. Now my MACD line is green instead of blue. But it's you know, it looks a little trippy. However, you know, if you want a thicker line, you could just increase the thickness and all that. But what I do is, you know, reset to default. Cool. So what I would do, I'd recommend you do as well, is go to SARs and increase their size, because they're a little bit hard to see, and you can choose whatever you want. I do recommend keeping this default, right, the default settings, but you know, by color I meant when I said you could choose whatever you want, right? So there's not a MACD tutorial yet, but there will be in the future. I'm not a MACD SAR tutorial yet, but there will be one in the future. So you know, that's that, guys. That's how I do it. That's how I set it up. That's how the screenshots look. So in next week we'll have a price history tutorial. You know, this week we had this Tradingview intro, as well as the you know, the MACD tutorial. Next week we'll get price history and the parabolic SAR tutorial, right? And then the week after that we'll do how to apply both of them. You know, all those 3 different things together. So that's what you got to look forward to. Please do subscribe if you already haven't. Tell your friends, because we want informed traders, and you know, have a good day, as the Russians